Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. Authorities release more details about a Vernon County homicide investigation.
A federal judge rules that people who are incarcerated are in fact eligible to receive stimulus checks. I'm Zach Dodge with what our local jails have heard. Coming up.
Public health officials set a new timeline for a vaccine amid a surge of new coronavirus cases. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Doug Heddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Pittsburgh police are investigating a shooting. It happened at around 2:30 this afternoon on East Madison in Pittsburgh. Police say the victim got into a fight with 2 people and was shot. The victim is recovering in a Joplin hospital. The 2 suspects drove away after the shooting. That's all according to police. Well, investigators have released the identity of a Southwest Missouri murder victim, and they're trying to find her adult son in connection with the case. Vernon County, Missouri Sheriff's Office says the body of 63-year-old Connie Goodwin was discovered Wednesday in the Deerfield area on Quail Road. Neighbors say police were at this Vernon County house close to the intersection with T Highway. Then yesterday, a development in the case out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Police say they found possible evidence in the back of a pickup in a Hot Springs Walmart parking lot. Through surveillance video, they discovered it had been put in the truck at a hotel the night before. The Hot Springs, Arkansas Police Department is looking for this man right there, the victim's son, Aaron Goodwin. He's wanted for abandonment of a corpse. They believe he is armed and dangerous and say he was last seen in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Federal judge rules that the IRS has to send stimulus checks to eligible inmates. This comes months after the government said people who are incarcerated, weren't eligible and made many return checks they had already received. KOAM's Zach Dodge has why one of our local sheriffs got information from the IRS.
A few days ago, a box from the IRS showed up at the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office in Columbus.
The inmates received an instruction form and then a blank 1040 form.
Forms that inmates could fill out if they wanted to apply for stimulus checks from the federal government. A recent federal court ruling means that the IRS cannot deny paying stimulus checks from the CARES Act passed in March to inmates just because they're incarcerated.
Surprised that there's a potential that they're even eligible, because federal law prohibits any inmates in the county jails anywhere in the country to receive federal benefits.
Under the ruling, the IRS has to send paperwork to prison officials so the inmates can apply. That paperwork has to be mailed back to the IRS by November 4th. And according to Leaf, Cabraser, Hyman, and Bernstein, the law firm that filed the case, that ruling does include inmates at county jails.
There are instances with county jails where an inmate may have been incarcerated maybe a couple of years waiting for trial. So there is potential for somebody to be incarcerated today that may have been incarcerated when those initial stimulus checks went out.
Grove says every inmate at the jail applied and that the paperwork is on its way back to the IRS. But other local jails, like Allen, Bourbon, and Crawford counties, and even Jasper and Newton counties in Missouri, haven't received anything from the IRS.
This is the first information I've received on this.
There hasn't been any official information released by the IRS saying that packets are being sent to county jails. We reached out to the IRS, but the department won't comment on pending litigation. So the Sheriff's Association plans to let all the sheriffs in Kansas know so they can try to meet the quickly approaching deadline.
In all good faith, we should probably be proactive with that and go ahead and do what we can to distribute the forms.
In Cherokee County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Inmates can also file an application online by using the IRS non-filers tool. The deadline for doing that, however, is November 21st. Doug Heddy does join us now with our first look at weather. Beautiful day for all those kids' pre-Halloween parties going on.
Yeah, nice day for us today. Finally, we got a full day of sunshine for the first time this week. And our temperatures warmed up nicely all the way up to about 65 degrees. And this is going to be similar to what we should see during the daytime hours tomorrow. Very close to where we should be for this time of the year. Clear skies. We've had a few little clouds that have rotated through over the past couple hours, but in general, clear skies most of the day, and that's what we have across the entire Central Plains and will see for us tonight. We're sitting into the upper 40s. We'll drop back into lower 40s later on tonight. A south wind will kind of keep our temperature up just a little bit. So we'll drop back to about 42, 51 by 9, 61 by noon. High temp looks great, up to 66 during the afternoon. Of course, we'll look down the road here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. So tomorrow is Halloween, right? So in tonight's KOM News Now Mr. Poll, we are asking, what is your family going to do on Halloween? Trick or treating, going to a community event, staying at home, or something else? We won't say what else. We won't ask you what else. You just put something else. You can vote on our website, komnewsnow.com/vote, or by using our app on your mobile devices. The results update instantly on our broadcast. We're going to check back on the results periodically during tonight's show. There's been a lot of activity going on at the former Toys R Us building on Rangeline Road in Joplin. City officials confirmed to us that a building permit has been filed for work on the building by Big Lots. We reached out to Big Lots officials who said they could not comment at this time. Big Lots does have a store already in Webb City on Madison. Pittsburgh is getting a new Dairy Queen. Chamber of Commerce officials helped break ground for the new restaurant that's going to be at 2109 North Broadway. As we see right there, the new Dairy Queen will be a grill and chill concept featuring both hot and cold foods. 30 workers are going to be hired very soon. Officials at the Nevada Regional Medical Center say they are supporting an investigation and response to an outbreak of COVID-19 at Moorview Care Center. The nursing home is near the Nevada Regional Medical Center. The first case of COVID-19 was discovered October 20th. Since then, we're being told, 39 residents, 23 staff members have all tested positive. We're being told family members have been contacted. Some officials are enforcing new coronavirus restrictions as more than a dozen states report testing positivity rates above 10%. The fall surge comes as vaccine manufacturers get closer to releasing late-stage trial results. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary has more.
A record-breaking week for the U.S. as officials race to contain another wave of coronavirus infections. The nation recorded more than 500,000 cases over 7 days, while the daily average for new infections remains above 70,000. Health experts attribute the spike to widespread community transmission. And with Halloween and the holiday season around the corner, they're asking folks to avoid large gatherings.
The choices you make every day could be the difference between preventing a hospitalization or even saving a life.
New COVID-19 restrictions are in place to help curb the spread. Beginning today, Chicago restaurants will be closed to indoor dining, while outdoor service will have a nightly curfew. But restaurant owners are pushing back, saying the measures may lead to a greater surge of infections.
By closing our restaurants, people are going to have house parties, and it's just going to drive COVID-19 up. Covered faces keep open places. We understand that.
Meanwhile, Moderna announced this week it expects to have 20 million doses of a vaccine by the end of the year. On Friday, Dr. Anthony Fauci said if a vaccine is approved by that time, the majority of people may not be vaccinated until next summer.
The doses, and there will be hundreds of millions of doses being produced already, will gradually, in a graded fashion, get distributed to those who are in need of it over the subsequent 4, 5, 6 months.
Moderna says it could seek emergency use authorization for its potential vaccine by the end of November. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seary, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our four-state heroes. Wayne Blackford served in the U.S. Air Force from 1970 to 71. We are proud to thank Staff Sergeant Wayne Blackford, a native of rural Joplin. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, we're going to have highlights from the Missouri Class 4 Softball State Championship as the Cards of Webb City looking to win their third title in program history.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Friday for us today. The first day that we've had sunshine all day this entire week, and temperature is fantastic as we warm back up. Just got to remember, 3 days ago, 3 and 4 days ago, both days we were having ice events, especially on the Kansas side. So 65 today, pretty good. Great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, if we go ahead, zoom in for us right now, currently sitting at 48. South winds are at about 5. Humidity is at 74%. It's chilly, but it's not cold. Anywhere from 49 in Carthage, 50 in Neosho, Seneca 49, Miami at 49, Pittsburgh is also sitting at about 49. And this is consistent across the entire 4-state area, near 50 on the Kansas and Oklahoma side, and then also upper 40s to near 50 in Missouri and Arkansas. The winds, south winds, they're light, but what they will do for us is keep our temperatures up just a little bit tonight. So we're not going to drop back near freezing like we have been seeing. We do have a few little mid and upper level clouds that have been streaming through, but that's it. Nothing going on across the entire Central Plains. Really, the entire nation is pretty quiet. We do have a weak little wave up across parts of Montana, and this system will slide in tomorrow night. It'll drop a cold front through, but looks like it's mainly going to be on the dry side as it does so. A few random clouds for us tonight will drop back into lower 40s. Nice warm up tomorrow. I think most of us mid 60s for a high. So it looks great by the time we head into Saturday afternoon, which of course is Halloween. We'll start at 42, 60 by noon, high temp at 66. Now ahead of this front, it's going to be windy. We're going to have these south winds at about 10 to 20. And here comes the front. Tomorrow evening with it, we may get some clouds, but I think we should stay dry. And then we'll cool down a little bit more behind it, as we'll see overnight lows about 38 to 40 degrees. Sunday also looks good. It's just going to be a little bit cooler. I think most of us are going to warm into the mid 50s by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. But in general, the weekend looks pretty good. Let's move into next week. You can see no big storm systems rolling in. Get some clouds in here by Wednesday, go into Thursday, even Friday, nothing going on. Then finally, by late next week into the weekend, a bigger storm system will rotate out of the Pacific Northwest, and that will be our chance to get some changes in here in about 9 days. But until then, there's just nothing going on. 66 for us tomorrow. Of course, it's Halloween. If you have trick-or-treaters, it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be chilly, but comfortable. We'll slide back through the 50s as we head through the evening hours. Of course, your clock's set back 1 hour tomorrow night. We lose an hour of evening daylight, but we do gain an hour of sleep, which is always rewarding. And then 62 on Monday, Election Tuesday, fantastic, sunny skies, 72.
You know, 2020 has taught us to look at the glass half full, and as you said, it's going to be chilly tomorrow, but no rain, you know, so you can...
So it looks fine.
Yeah. Doug, thanks. Coming up, Campaign 2020's final push.
A campaign blitz across the Midwest, candidates targeting battleground states. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. What the candidates were saying just days ahead of the election out on the campaign trail.
It's final Friday before the election, and the candidates are blitzing battleground states in the Midwest. That happens to be where COVID-19 cases are spiking, and concerns are upending some of the president's plans. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
We have a really big base and we have more energy than anybody.
In the final stretch before Election Day, President Trump is hoping to rev up his supporters in Michigan and later Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's a particularly busy day in the Midwest as both the president and former Vice President Joe Biden make their final campaign blitzes before Tuesday. Biden is in Iowa and Wisconsin and Minnesota. Biden is trying to win back states that President Trump was able to flip red back in 2016.
I believe when you use your power, the power of a vote, we're going to change the course of the country and, quite frankly, the world. Right here in Iowa.
In Minnesota, where cases hit an all-time daily high, the president's campaign limiting the size of his rally from thousands to just 250 people after state leaders required a COVID-19 safety plan.
So they thought I'd cancel. Oh, this is really great. Trump will cancel. No, I'm going to go. The president of the United States is going to Minnesota to talk to people, and they're suppressing it. And they think that's good, but I don't.
Both campaigns are preparing for a close race.
I would say that this is a very, very close election. I mean, I don't believe anything about the public polls saying that there's wide leads in some of these swing states. They're swing states for a reason, and I think that the race is going to be a lot closer than people think.
Even as the president says he's going to win big.
I'm going to win. We're going to win with a record number.
There's a bit of a disagreement between the Trump campaign and D.C.'s mayor. She's limiting gathering sizes. His campaign wants a big party at his hotel. No word yet on what the campaign has decided to do on Tuesday night. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Before Election Day, there's Halloween, right? In tonight's KOM News Now Instant poll, we are asking you, how is your family planning to celebrate or, take part in the festivities on Halloween? Trick-or-treating, going to a community event, staying home, or something else? You can vote at komnewsnow.com/vote or on the KOM News Now mobile app. Here are some results so far. We got, some results across the board. Again, you can vote on our website, komnewsnow.com/vote or on your mobile device. Just ahead, Halloween 2020 style.
It requires some creativity, but people are still celebrating Halloween despite the pandemic. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. That's straight ahead.
Halloween spirit is alive and well. Many communities are safely enjoying the holiday despite this pandemic. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer looking at some of the creative ideas people have come up with.
The coronavirus isn't scaring people away from celebrating Halloween this year. While it may not look like traditional trick-or-treating, families across the country are still finding creative and safe ways to hand out sweets. From candy zip lines to candy catapults.
Everything going on, everybody just needs to feel happy, find something to laugh at.
And even candy robots.
We added the arm extender with lollipops so that we can socially distance from people while still hand out candy. And there's a bubble blowing machine on the other hand. I think I spent almost like $200 on duct tape.
One popular idea is the candy chute, 6-foot tubes that can dispense treats from a distance.
I'm safe up there, kids are safe down there. Let's go ahead and get them some candy. So I bought some Clorox wipes, I wiped my hands, I wiped the bag of candy.
Businesses are also getting into the spooky spirit. One event company in Calabasas, California has turned its annual Halloween display into a contactless drive-through.
We have multiple production crews on scene and lighting and tech and carvers, about between 4,000 to 5,000 pumpkins all in for the show.
These socially distant celebrations might be a treat for retailers. While many Halloween stores were concerned about losing money this year, there's actually been a surge in sales, mostly decorations instead of costumes.
Props have been flying off the shelf.
And if you're still looking for some fun ideas, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends carving pumpkins at home, visiting an orchard, or having an outdoor costume parade. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Good weather here for all that stuff. All right, a baby boy making a statement with his birth. Nothing gonna get me down, not even the coronavirus. Awesome story, 4-state zone, back right after this. Still time to vote on tonight's KOM News Now Instant poll. The question tonight, what is your family planning to do on Halloween? Choices are trick-or-treating, going to a community event, staying at home, or something else. Remember, you can vote on our website, komnewsnow.com/vote, or by using our app on your mobile phone. We're going to have another look at the results, check back on those results in a few minutes. We've heard health officials attribute many deaths to COVID-19. Our hearts continue to go out to the families and friends of those who've passed away. But this next story is cause for celebration across the world. A premature baby born with the coronavirus is said to be Peru's youngest COVID-19 survivor. The child, known as baby Jorgito, has been receiving intensive medical treatment since his birth. He arrived 3 months before his scheduled due date. Doctors rushing to help him survive say he weighed just over 1 pound. To make matters worse, baby Jorgito also tested positive for COVID-19. His mother had the virus. But now, after roughly 4 months of hospitalization, medical experts say both mother and son are doing great. Both are recovered and are expected to soon be released from the hospital. Every parent is proud of that young boy, and that boy showing some determination. That's awesome. I had to put that story in the show once I saw it. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
There's so much superstition surrounding the number 13 that this is actually the only stretch of 13th Street in the city of Joplin. I'm Chris Warner with a little bit of the history and the mystery behind the missing 13th Street.
Plus, a Joplin organization helping young women during difficult times in life breaks ground to expand its mission. Also, how getting a delicious frappe at one business in Joplin helped provide mammograms for several 4-staters. To many, the number 13 just sounds spooky. Spooky enough, some believe that the superstition is why, except for one small spot, there's no 13th Streets in Joplin. But that all depends on who you ask, okay? KOM's Chris Warner asked a few people. Chris has more.
This is 13th Street in Joplin. It's the only stretch of 13th which runs from Rangeline east to the Duquesne city limit, which is about 0.2 of a mile. The remaining miles of what's supposed to be 13th Street has two names. But why? Is it superstition? Well, Convention and Visitors Bureau Director Patrick Tuttle thinks so.
Well, we have both Marquardt and Jung Boulevard, both are what 13th Street was. And, you know, the original plots has it as 13th Street, but I think it has to do more with superstition probably. And as people developed those neighborhoods, those subdivisions, people wouldn't live on 13th Street, so they made the change.
Now, 13 has a long history of being a negative number. For example, the gallows often have 13 steps because it's the right height for a proper hanging execution. Many tall buildings don't have 13th floors. And then there's Plato's Closet in Joplin. Their address? 1313 Rangeline, and they sit on the corner of 13th and Rangeline.
We get very superstitious, and we definitely take knowledge to the 13s on our building, and we used to be a hospital too, so we do hear some weird creaks and stuff, so it just adds to the excitement of this time of year.
So does 13th Street carry those names for superstitious reasons, or is there a more logical explanation? MSSU's community historian Brad Belk says it's hard to say since we weren't in the meetings that picked those names for that street. However, he does know what, or rather who, those streets are named for.
August Jung was really one of the founding fathers of our community. With this bread company, he supplied bread to the local citizens and became a very wealthy man.
Now that name is also tied to Jung Stadium and the old Jung Bakery. As for Marquardt, that would be William Marquardt.
Well, strangely enough, Marquardt also was in the bread baking business. They were somewhat competitors. He had a different factory, obviously.
Belk says Marquardt won the Citizen Award from the Chamber of Commerce in 1968, and East 13th Street was subsequently named for him. So superstition or logical reason? It all depends on who you ask. In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
I've always been a fan of Wonder Bread myself. There are 13 streets, however, in a number of area communities, including Webb City, Carthage, and Pittsburgh. An organization called Love and Grace in Joplin broke ground for a new building. Love and Grace works with young women who are going through a transition in their lives. This new building is a home for pregnant and parenting young mothers. The Top Hat Traveling Cafe made a stop at the Freeman Women's Pavilion in Joplin today. $1 from every pink drink, frappe, benefited the Helping Friends Mammogram Fund, dedicated to providing mammograms to uninsured and underinsured Freeman patients. And this mission is personal to the business owner. Her grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago at the age of 85 and beat that cancer.
She beat breast cancer, so I feel like that gives a lot of hope to maybe someone that's going through it right now to be able to see that she made it through, and that's mainly what we're trying to do, is give back and make sure people get their mammograms and can take care of themselves.
Listen to this. The pink drink, just in case if you're wondering, is a white chocolate raspberry frappe. Sounds good, doesn't it? Time's almost up to get the pants scared off of you. There are several haunted houses set up across the 4 states, as many of us know. We caught up with one of the people who's been doing the scaring. They say they're going to miss you after Saturday.
By the end of the season, actors, ourselves, we're all wore out. But the thing that brings you back, you see the smiles, you hear the screams. It's just an adrenaline rush to get you coming back each time.
Waco closes for the season at 11 p.m. on Sunday. If you want to see KOM's Jesse Irwin go through the schoolhouse, it's pretty funny. Check out the morning show page at our website, komnewsnow.com. All right, in today's KOM News Now Instant Poll question, we asked you, what is your family planning to do on Halloween? That poll is now closed. Hope you had a chance to vote. Here are some results. I'm reading them right now. Okay, the majority of you say, 2020 has been scary enough. I'm just going to stay at home. Then 44% of you say, you know what, the kids enjoy some trick-or-treating, especially they deserve it in 2020. We're going to go out and trick-or-treat. So thanks everyone who voted. A bit later, a massive earthquake overseas.
Rescue efforts are underway in Turkey after an earthquake there caused at least 20 buildings to collapse. I'm Greg Pelka in London. That's my story. Coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today. Temperature is fantastic as we went into the mid-60s for highs, and we had sunshine, which is always nice to see because we had so many clouds and rain throughout most of the week. Great time-lapse Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but looks great throughout the daytime hours for us today. Let's go ahead, zoom in downtown Joplin, currently sitting at 48. South winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 74%. Temps around the metro, most of us right now are 49 to about 50. Diamond and at 50. CJ 48 in Baxter. Head down I-44, Miami, Fairland, Commerce, all into the mid 40s. Pittsburgh sitting at 46. And I think most of us are going to drop back to about 40 or 42 later on tonight. But everybody looks good. We're sitting into the mid to upper 40s to near 50 degrees. We've had pretty much clear skies. South winds at about 5 to 10. These are going to get a little bit stronger for us as we work into the daytime hours tomorrow. But what this will do is keep our temperatures up a little bit tonight. So last night we got right around freezing. We're not going to have that for us tonight. Few little clouds streaming through. Besides that, nothing's going on. The entire Central Plains, nothing is going on. In fact, most of the country from east to west, nothing is going on until you see this one little tiny system up across parts of Montana. And this weak little wave will head toward us tomorrow night. It's going to drop a cold front through. I think we're going to stay dry, but it will cool us down just a bit by the time we head into Sunday. At least for us tonight into lower 40s. Nice warm up again tomorrow. I think most of us mid 60s for highs, about 66 during the afternoon, which is just fantastic. 42 to start. 60 by noon, high temp is 66. We're going to have these south winds at about 10 to 20. A little breezy at times, but still a pretty good day. Here's the front. This cold front slides through during the evening. We'll get some clouds with it, but again, I think we'll stay dry in that colder air. It's not cold, but cooler air is going to work in behind it. We'll drop back upper 30s by Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon looks good. It's going to be cooler. I think we'll be in the mid 50s, probably about 10 degrees cooler than what we are going to see for us tomorrow. So let's go down the road from that point on. In this year's pattern, which is we're going to be in for the next 11 months, or about 10 months, we have some big storm systems like we saw this week, but we have these long gaping gaps of just nothing going on, and we're in one of those gaps this week. So a few clouds Wednesday, temps great all week. Finally, by next weekend, we'll start to get a storm system that heads out, and our rain chances will start to increase by the time we head into next weekend, especially next Sunday and Monday. 66 tomorrow, 54 on Sunday. Back to 62 Monday, 72 on Election Tuesday, and then we hang out near 70 degrees. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and perfect temperatures, really. Doug, thank you. Large crowds and COVID-19 can be a scary combination, but the Parks and Rec Department of Pittsburgh, Kansas found a way to pull it off, all in the name of Halloween fun. KOAM's Mike Mahoney checked out Pittsburgh's drive-through trunk-or-treat events this afternoon.
COVID-19 continues to alternate the way people celebrate, and Halloween in the four-state area is no exception. That could be seen in Pittsburgh Friday at this trunk-or-treat event put on by the city's Parks and Recreation Department, which was a strictly drive-through affair. But the event at the Don Gutteridge Sports Complex didn't happen until the Crawford County Health Department signed off on safety measures.
Everybody's been very creative about making safer ways to celebrate, and this certainly is one of them, and I'm just as pleased as it can be that we're working together.
At a drive-through trunk-or-treat, the kids have it easy. Everybody was required to stay in their seats while representatives for various organizations put goodie bags, candies, and other treats in the passing vehicles. The entire process was contactless, and all the kids had to worry about was showing off their cool costumes.
I think we're all looking for a little bit of normalcy, and while this isn't exactly that way, I think it's a great, safe alternative, and I think the kids are having a great time tonight.
This was the first annual trunk-or-treat event for the city, and some attendees think it could be the start of a new tradition. In Pittsburgh, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Trunk-or-treat event in Pittsburgh was such a big hit that a large line of traffic formed outside the Don Gutteridge Sports Complex. Fortunately, officials were on hand to help keep the line moving. Coming up in sports, Webb City softball looks to capture their third state title in program history. We're going to have some highlights for you. Also, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, previews this Sunday's game against the New York Jets.
Well, today is the day for Webb City softball. The Cardinals are in Springfield, aiming to bring home the Class 4 state championship. Now, Webb City has Webster Groves in the championship game. A win here would give the Cards their third state title in program history. Now, Hayden Berry, good start. A pair of strikeouts in the first. Now, Webster strikes first in the third, though. Second and third for Hannah Jansen. She drops one in. 2 score to put the Statesmen on top 2-zip. The same score in the fifth. Berry with runners on the corners. She comes through with the hit through the left side to score Shaylee Key. Webb City within 1. And here we go, bottom of the 7th. Cards down 3-1, down to their final 3 outs. Bree Batson says, "We ain't done." Batson, 2-run jack to left, just her second homer of the year. We're going to extras. Top of the 8th, Webster Groves regains that lead. Ava Fitzgibbon pulls it to left. Taylor Smith scores. Webb City back down 5-3, but again, they are not going quietly. Bottom 8th, Hannah Wells. Hard liner to center. That brings Alyssa Jennings to the plate, and just like that, back to a 1-run game. However, Webster Groves was able to get out of it. Pop up in foul territory ends the ball game. Statesmen win at 5-4 today. Webb City finishes as a state runner-up with a 27-6 record.
They fight till the end in every single game, and nothing was different today. So just like I said, just extremely proud of this team. This team has so much drive and so much team chemistry and really just character among every single player. When I was a little girl, I've always wanted to play here, and even though we didn't pull out the win today, I mean, it's a dream come true just to get here and share this with so many of these girls. Even though it didn't go our way today, I'm extremely proud to be a part of this ball club and the leader of it.
The Kansas City Chiefs are 6-1 through their first 7 games of the season. Last week, they earned a blowout win over the Broncos. This week, they're back home facing the Jets. Like we do here every Friday, right now, it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
Sometimes I'm perplexed. This is one of those weeks. This Week 8 game is against the Jets. But I would like to address the Chiefs' Jet, second-year wide receiver McCole Hardman. Hardman has been the target of scrutiny on social media lately. Let's look at the numbers. As the Jet gets ready for the Jets, it's worthwhile to note that the Jet, in his first 23 career games, has been targeted 61 times as a wide receiver. He has 41 receptions, a 67% catch ratio. Those 41 catches have resulted in, wait for it, 8 touchdowns. Throw in a 104-yard kickoff return last December and down 24-0 in the playoffs. It was Hardman the Jet who had a 58-yard kickoff return that started the unforgettable 3-game road to the Lombardi Trophy. Fantasy? Reality? I like the Jet. On this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's game begins at noon. The Chiefs, by the way, are 19.5-point favorites. That's a look at sports. Be sure to join us tonight at 10 on KOAM for 4 State Friday night. It's playoff time, so we're going to have high school football highlights and scores from all across the area. We're back with more news after this.
At least 14 people are dead, hundreds others injured after an earthquake struck Friday near one of Turkey's coastal cities. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Pelcott has the latest.
A devastating earthquake Friday off the coast of Turkey, the quake toppling buildings in the country's western provinces. At least 20 buildings collapsed, according to the mayor of the coastal city of Izmir, dozens of others suffering serious structural damage. Izmir is Turkey's third largest city, home to around 4.5 million people.
You cannot think at that moment. All you try to do is to go out. Everywhere was collapsing down. Luckily, our building was intact. We were really panicked and managed to go out at the very last minute.
The government has sent search and rescue teams to help first responders on the ground. Crews were working Friday to reach people trapped beneath the rubble.
I was talking with someone and felt it while we were on the road. It started to shake. While I was watching our building shaking, I see this building collapsing down.
At least 70 people have been rescued. Early estimates putting the quake at close to 7.0 in magnitude. This video showing a cloud of dust rising after the initial tremor. Residents have been told to stay away from large buildings in case of aftershocks. A tsunami warning has been issued for the region. Officials on the nearby Greek island of Samos telling residents to stay away from the coast. Seismologists say the tremor could be felt hundreds of miles away in Athens and even in Bulgaria. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Another celebrity wedding to announce. Hollywood Nation coming your way. From a new musical biopic to a scary movie star turned director, plus some celebrity wedding news. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with tonight's Hollywood Nation.
An iconic disco trio gets a biopic, a frightening franchise continues, and a celebrity wedding gives back in the Hollywood Nation. Actress Scarlett Johansson and SNL's Colin Jost are officially wed, and the two made the announcement a charitable endeavor, with Meals on Wheels America breaking the news on Instagram. The organization says the stars were married in an intimate ceremony following COVID-19 safety precautions. The post adds, the couple's wedding wish is to help make a difference for vulnerable older adults during this difficult time, and asks people to consider donations. Blumhouse Productions is unleashing Insidious Part 5, and it'll be star Patrick Wilson's directorial debut. Wilson will also return as Josh Lambert in a story picking up 10 years after the last installment. Patrick says he's thrilled to helm the flick, which he says will provide an amazing chance to unpack everything the Lamberts went through a decade ago, as well as deal with the consequences of their choices. And audiences get a look at the Bee Gees biopic. The Bee Gees, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, tells the story of Barry Maurice and Robin Gibb from their childhood through their rise to fame, with interviews and never-before-seen archival footage. The HBO documentary is directed by Frank Marshall and debuts December 12th.
That's my story, now sticking to it.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with kids in Miami from Nichols Upper Elementary doing the Thriller dance. That's awesome. You go, guys. Hey, have a great, safe weekend. Happy Halloween. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.